Today, new data in 2 GI cancers, results from the 13th International Conference on Malignant Lymphoma, and a European drug approval for melanoma. All this and more starts right now on OncLive News Network. Hello and welcome, I'm Laura Jones. Data from a phase 3 study showed a significant improvement in overall survival with Panitumumab versus best supportive care in patients with chemorefractory KRAS wild-type metastatic colorectal cancer. Significant improvement in overall survival was also found in patients with wild-type RAS tumors, a secondary endpoint. Earlier this year, the FDA expanded the Panitumumab label to include patients with all RAS wild-type metastatic colorectal cancer versus only KRAS wild-type. This change further solidified a continued shift toward expanded RAS testing strategy. Also in GI cancer news, data from the phase 3 REACH study, which examined the use of VEGFR2 inhibitor Ramucirumab as a second-line therapy in advanced liver cancer, has been published in The Lancet Oncology. Ramucirumab was compared with placebo as add-on to best supportive care in patients with hepatocellular carcinoma who had been treated with sorafenib in the first-line setting. The study failed to meet its primary endpoint of overall survival. However, a subgroup analysis found a significant benefit with Ramucirumab in patients with elevated baseline levels of alpha-fetoprotein. Median overall survival in this subgroup of patients was 7.8 months in the treatment arm compared with 4.2 months in the placebo arm. Based on these encouraging results, Eli Lilly announced plans to begin enrollment for REACH2, which will evaluate the monoclonal antibody in patients with elevated AFP. The estimated completion date for REACH2 is April 2018. Now, on to some exciting earlier phase study results announced at the 13th International Conference on Malignant Lymphoma held in Lugano, Switzerland. The anti-CD20 antibody ublituximab, used in combination with the BTK inhibitor ibrutinib, demonstrated an overall response rate of 95% in previously treated high-risk patients with CLL, which made up approximately half of the 44 patients enrolled. In the full evaluable population, the overall response rate was 88%. At 6 months, the combination resulted in median nodal reduction of 85% for the high-risk group and 76% overall. In a separate study presented at the conference, these two agents in combination with TGR-1202 demonstrated robust clinical activity in relapsed refractory CLL and B-cell non-Hodgkin lymphoma. The chemotherapy-free triplet resulted in an overall response rate of 86% by week 8 among the 13 patients evaluable for efficacy. An average 83% reduction in tumor burden was seen at the first scan. Also at ICML, adoptive cell transfer shows promise in NHL. Infusions of CTL-019 achieved durable responses and showed an acceptable safety profile in heavily pretreated patients with CD19-positive diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, mantle cell lymphoma, and follicular lymphoma. Patients enrolled in the trial were required to have CD19-positive B-cell lymphomas with no available curative treatment options. In 19 patients evaluable at 3 months, the overall response rate was 68%. The overall response rate was 100% for 7 patients in the FL cohort. Nivolumab became the first PD-1 inhibitor to gain approval in Europe. The agent was approved as a treatment for patients with advanced melanoma in the first and later line setting, regardless of BRAF mutation status. The European Commission based its decision for first-line use on superior overall survival findings for nivolumab versus dacarbazine in the phase 3 CheckMate 066 trial. For previously treated patients, the decision was based on an improvement in objective response rates seen in the phase 3 CheckMate 037 trial. ASCO has unveiled a drug valuation tool that applies metrics to gauge the net health benefits of drugs. The new scorecard weighs the clinical benefit and toxicities to determine the absolute benefit of a treatment. In the example shown, 4 regimens were compared with the standard of care for first-line treatment of metastatic non-small cell lung cancer. Each regimen was given an NHB, or net health benefit, on a scale of 0 to 130. A key distinction between the ASCO framework and the other models is that the cost of the drug regimens is given but is not factored into the overall scores. Next, we hear from Dr. Michael Schuster from Stony Brook University Hospital on the importance of monitoring patients with CML who are receiving treatment with a TKI.
I think that when we start a patient on a TKI, we're cognizant of that patient's medical history, the patient's comorbidities, how the drug we're prescribing might affect any of those underlying conditions, and certainly new ones that we might be causing side effects from the individual TKIs. And I think that it's important for none of us to become complacent, and in a sense that literally has happened over the last few years. Remember, there were more than 3,000 people a year who died from CML in the pre-TKI era. Now we've been lulled into a complacency. We have our patients take a pill or a couple pills a day. They talk to me more about the arthritis in their knees than they do about leukemia. Life-threatening leukemia is no longer the issue for them. And I think it's important for us not to be lulled into that complacency as well, because these drugs have potential side effects. We have to be on the lookout for them. We have to monitor our patients very closely.
To hear more of Dr. Schuster's interview, visit the website on your screen. And that'll do it for today. Thank you so much for watching OncLive News Network. I'm Laura Jones. We'll see you next time.